passport bros are being delusional? According to Casey Ababa. That's the title of this video, and that's the video we're about to watch. So let's see what you gotta say. Cassia?
It seems like every week now we are being served a new hot internet discourse that adds fuel to the fire of ongoing gender wars. We are barely past the bear drama, you know, the whole would you rather be stuck in the woods with a bear or a man thing, which some men took hilariously personally, by the way. Does someone wanna mansplain to me why car windows have these lines?
I paused a little bit too quick, but just on the wording of that, go fuck yourself. I haven't heard what you have to say about it, but it sounds like you don't have something good to say about it. Dude, what are you taking this offensive joke personally? This thing that was designed to make you seem like you're a threat to people and that you're violent. Maybe you shouldn't take these jokes so personally. I get that reasoning, right? You know, it's fair to make fun of people based on these types of things. Comedy's fine, dark humor's okay, you can do whatever you want. But what I have to say to that is, why are you still... Get back in the kitchen. Yeah, you have no right to be offended by that. How's that? Already off to a bad start, Cassia.
Ask the bear. This is so funny to me. Every conversation with a man should go like this. Honey, do you know where the sponge is? I don't know. Go ask the bear. I just love men being petty. It suits them. But today I wanted to talk about something else that has been trending on social media recently, so-called passport bros. The passport bros are men who have chosen to seek out foreign women, typically from other countries, for relationships. They believe that Western women have been influenced by cultural and societal pressures to behave in a certain way, and that by seeking out foreign women, they can find a more authentic, fulfilling, and harmonious relationship. This is seen as a way to restore the natural balance between masculine and feminine energy and to avoid the wickedness of Western women. As you can see, the whole thing perfectly fits into the modern gender war narrative and obviously stirred some controversy, which wannabe passport bros blame on Western feminists who are just angry and jealous, seeing their finest specimen escaping the country so they don't have to deal with their insane standards and expectations. Well, I am not a Western feminist, although these guys would probably say I am westernized, which is patronizing in both sexist and xenophobic ways. So I thought...
Why are you complaining about the patronization if you're sitting here saying that, like, men are overreacting to your prejudice towards them? Oh, you shouldn't get offended by me saying that I'd rather be stuck in the woods with a bear over a man. But, like, you're patronizing me because you think that I'm just some Western radicalized feminist. That's sexist and mean. Immediately hypocrisy, immediate double standard. Of course, dude, you're already off to a bad start, Cassia. What the hell's going on here, dude? Why is it like men should have to be able to tolerate your prejudice towards them, but they can't be, you can't tolerate the prejudice they throw your way? Oh, I mean, you're really reinforcing the gender stereotypes of lack of accountability and lack of self-awareness for women. I'm not saying all women, I'm saying women like this. And there's a lot of them like that. I feel like as we go through this 21 goddamn minute video, it's gonna get worse. So, yeah, bear with me, please. Or, yeah, bear, not man with me. Bear with me, please. Because I'd rather be barren instead of mannin, so. Oh, God, I also like how she pulled up the Urban Dictionary definition of what a passport bro is. It's totally just about going to find women. It's not trying to find a higher quality of life for less money. It's not trying to go to a place where the women aren't conditioned to despise men, such as the man versus bear thing. I mean, come on, dude. It's crazy. So, we're gonna get some more garbage. I can just feel it. I haven't watched this video. It's a dry run, but it's gonna get worse. Oh God. They're gonna make me miss Taylor. Check out this other video that I made about this other lady who's funny enough on the other side. Crazy, traditional, conservative lady who's against feminism. And we got this lady on this other side. We'll see how far throughout this video, as this video goes along, we're gonna see how far she is on this other side. So let's hear it.
So I thought maybe I should comment on this. My whole life I've been hearing about Polish women being this or that. Even recently in the comments, someone felt the need to say something about my looks and how I should be thankful for my Slavic genes. Yeah, my genes. Definitely. So I've started digging into
The same thing happens to me. People say I look like a homeless mad scientist. They say I look like the Weeknd's tweaker cousin. It's like, I've had a lot of racist slurs in the comments before here and there. Not a lot, but there's enough for me to point out. It's like, dude, everyone everywhere gets like these things thrusted upon them. This applies to everyone. It's like, and therefore, I mean, to me, my response is get the hell away from people like that. It's definitely a lot of definitely Americans who've said those things to me. And you're Polish. I don't really know what the standards are in your part of the world, but let's just put it this way: I'm gonna be ending up being one of those people who goes abroad, not just for the women. That's just a side part, but like the quality of life, and it's not gonna be Poland. If you're a passport bro, self-proclaimed, and you choose to go to Poland, it's like, what's wrong with you? Oh god, yeah, just go to another Western country, westernized country. Which, yeah, I feel like that term fits, but let's keep going.
Into the topic, but all the YouTube videos and TikToks from Passport Bros seemed so insincere. Like I could immediately recognize them as either rage bait or some kind of grind aimed at conservative viewers. I wanted to find something that would at least resemble someone's actual lived experience, and so I turned to Reddit. And I know it's full of fakes, but it's also where people still go to seek advice or to complain, and this is exactly what I'm looking for. Part 1. Motivation. So, what drives these men to leave their beautiful but tragically woke countries and seek women abroad? We answered that partially while explaining the definition of a passport bro, but let's hear it from the horse's mouth. I don't want to become a passport bro, but I feel as if I have no other choice. Most girls in my country are taller than me. The last 8 girls I met were taller than me. They hate my skin color. All they talk about is liking tanned guys. Meanwhile, I'm very white. So, go tan? They seem to be a lot more likely to be obese.
These women thrust their stupid, superficial garbage standards onto you, and your first bit of advice to chime in is to say conform to that? You ironically are the reason why people want to get away from that. I'm women, I want this, you do that. I think that's, I'm a man, I think that's stupid. I want to just be myself, and I want you to appreciate me the same way I'll do that to you. Keisha says, nah, you should like just tan. If they like darker skinned boys, which has not been my experience. If they're gonna come from if you like darker skinned boys, then you need to conform to that. Which, sorry, to segue, that has not been my experience. If they say shit like that, it's usually because they commodify it. If someone likes a specific skin color or race or whatever, it's usually because the ideas that are surrounded with it, that they thrust upon those people within those demographics. So how about those people who say stupid shit like that, disregard them, their opinion's invalid. Screw you. I thought a romantic relationship was supposed to be a connection. It's supposed to be about getting to know the other person. It's supposed to be about substance. Supposed to. It's not. Humans aren't good enough for that. Humans are mindless animals. So, but Keisha says, tan. Go get a tan. Oh, God. I'm probably going to get progressively more annoyed as we get through this, but we're going to get through this. Please carry me through this, viewers. You're taking care of me.
More likely to be obese. The average age in my country is 45. I'm 22. Young girls are very few and rare. But I don't want to have to move country to get the dating life I want. What strikes me immediately is that he's talking about women as if they're some kind of commodity that should be provided for you in the appropriate quantity and the right quality. He deserves
the same way a lot of women talk about how men need to meet a specific type of criteria so that they can provide, like a commodity. It goes both ways. But oh, you're pretending that this way doesn't, this way is non-existent, but this way is right because you only give a shit about what applies to you. Right. Okay. It's good that we quantified that. Thanks, Keisha. Keisha, K.
Deserves the dating life he wants, but he doesn't see it as something he co-creates. In his mind, it's a passive act of selection. It's like he's complaining about restaurant menu choices. Passport Bros advocates will tell you that
That's exactly what women do. There's more of a justification for women to do that. Male standards tend to be shamed. Women are allowed to be like, no, I want a guy who's this tall. I want a guy who has this amount of money. I want this guy who could do this for me, who could fulfill a masculine frame, who's dominant, who's like confident, who's charismatic, yada, yada, yada. It's the same thing. What is your point? You're saying it's invalid when this guy points it out? Some of the observations he made they didn't make any sense. There's no average age is 45 age. Like, there's no young women. What are you talking about? Like, you can find plenty of every demographic everywhere. Sure, the points that he's making are weird, but it's like, you're not doing any better. You better start saying some stuff that makes sense here. Otherwise, I'm gonna, Keisha, goddamn e-girl, cat girl with those freaking headphones, get out of here. I could tell, that's funny. You see the little cat bed in the back with their little cat ears. Are you alluding to what your future's gonna look like? That you can't get offended by that, by my prejudice either. Otherwise, you're just being ornery and a little baby. The same way I'm, according to you, not allowed to get offended when you propose me as a threat, and for somehow a bear is more of a safe choice in a forest than a man. So, yeah, we're still at a stalemate, but I'm making better points than you are, so.
Advocates will tell you that it's all about finding love. Finding love with a woman who shares the same values and is loyal and respectful. But in too many of these posts, the only thing they actually seek is a set of physical characteristics. It's sometimes hilarious how shallow can they get while talking about their potential life partners. The trend I started seeing in the
She has no awareness whatsoever. Oh man. Everything that you're describing is exactly what women do in general. Only thing is men do the same thing. Like, not to disagree with that part, but it's like for men, they don't have that same degree of selection that's enabled for them. They have to do so much more to get the same degree of choices that women have by default. Yet, of course, you're ignoring the thing that applies to women, but not men. Because both men and women do this. But you're pointing out how these men do it, as if it's not a retaliatory reaction to women doing the same thing to them. Wow. God damn you. Oh, man. Dog. See, I got dogs, you got cats. We're polar opposites. I feel like we're going to war now.
I started seeing in the past 5 years is that women are starting to act more masculine and less feminine. Yesterday, I saw a woman walking in a tuxedo, giving snarky looks to men, acting like she's better than everyone. That's why traditional Japanese women that actually act feminine are a lot better in my opinion. So anyways, can you all recommend any other Asian countries with hot trad women I can marry? Looking for long term. This man saw a woman in a tuxedo once, and he immediately went for a meltdown and decided to leave the country to never see such an atrocity again.
And you saw this one guy post on Reddit saying all this weird stuff, and now you're making a video as a result of it. See, I can do the same thing. Also, I keep forgetting. Can you see my face now? For the amount of melanin in my skin doesn't prevent me from blending with the background. Ha, see, prejudice joke. But you're not allowed to get offended by that if you fall within the demographic. Because you're just being ornery. But like, let me disregard all the stuff that I do that reinforces that prejudice, right? While also like getting angry while people throw those same things at me. No, so I can understand that though. Why would you have self-awareness if like being self-aware causes like cognitive dissonance in life? If it's just more pain. Hopefully I can get through all of this. We're only 5 minutes in, but...
And he chose Japan as an example, which is another level of hilarious. To marry a peasant girl in a third world country. Oh boy, we're off to a great start. Hello everyone, I'm a man in my late 20s, totally burned out from living in a first world country all my life. I should probably mention that I'm a virgin and a hikikomori as well. My desired lifestyle is not acceptable for most women in first world countries. Ideally, I want to find a peasant girl who will want to live with me in a rural area and grow vegetables, raise chickens just for ourselves, but maybe selling surplus at the market. Someone who is content with living detached from the world. Someone who does not need to go out and have fun, get some drinks. Basically the opposite of a hedonist, rather being more practical minded. Someone for whom my ideal lifestyle would be acceptable. And most importantly, someone who is psychologically compatible with me and not westernized or modernized by any means. I love the idea that having fun and drinking is somehow a Western and modern thing to do. Like all these girls living in rural areas of impoverished countries would never want to do that. A quick reminder, young people all over the world love to have fun, dance, go out and drink. I'm sure there are some that don't, like the OP here, but the only reason he wants to go to a third world country is because he thinks girls there are not allowed to do those things and will be therefore forced to live out his simple life fantasy with him. I have studied global culture.
Yes, that is kind of a dumb preconceived notion, but it's like, that's his preference. It's stupid and it's mindless and it's shallow, and I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he's saying, but like, that's the same thing that both genders are the same when it comes to this. Only thing is there's more of an excuse when a woman has all these ridiculous, superficial, garbage standards that they apply all around. Only thing is you're shaming this guy for having his own particular standards and preferences, which I think his preferences are dumb, but I also think a lot of preferences your average women have are pretty stupid as well. Oh, right, you don't want to point that out. You want to just point out this one because I guess it's just topical for your frickin' video here. Very cool. Again, no self-awareness. And yes, everywhere you go, people like to go out and have fun, do all these different things. And that's a weird thing. I just want to sit in the farmland, raise chickens, not live a hedonist. It's like, what? Is this like a medieval serf or something? What the hell is going on here? But, and I do think it's dumb, but again, his preference. So who are you to judge? Oh, right, you're still here judging. But it would be crazy for me to say that just the general decree of the people around here is superficiality, vanity, delusion, selfishness, egotistical mindset, all that stuff. That's wrong for me to say that that's the way that things are and how I want to get away from that. But it's okay for you to just like, you know, thrust all your own judgments and prejudices on and shaming tactics on people like this who have their own dumbass superficial standards that are just as dumb as these ones. Cool. Glad to see you're not very aware.
Cultures a lot, especially Asian ones. Yeah, I figured that out when you called yourself a hikikomori. It is my interest in agrarian or tribal.
I don't even know what that is. Let's see what that is. A form of severe social withdrawal. Like a NEET, how they use that term in anime. Okay. Yeah, try not to label yourself as these things. You don't do this thing because of this label that I have. You don't do these things because of this label you have. You do this thing because it's just the way that you do things. There are ways to change these things if they're things that you don't like. You have to try. And that would be a good thing. Go abroad, change your life circumstances. Go and get new experiences. That would be great for you. Don't let people like Cassia Baba. Don't let people like Cassia Baba shame you into being where you are. Go live your life. Go find stuff that makes you happy. Test, experiment in different places. That's my advice. What I'm saying is way higher quality than what Kasa Baba. I'm just gonna call you Baba from now on because that's funny. But Baba. So, yeah, she's just reading what random bros on Reddit are saying, and it's like, if you use Reddit, what's wrong with you? People on Reddit, man, just delusional, crazy animals. Don't use Reddit. You can read Reddit stuff. It's entertaining, but don't contribute. Sometimes you get some stuff here or there, but it's never going to be found in these types of forums, so that's funny. The same way that he's sort of honing his own purview towards this thing and using it to determine his values and the way that he reacts to the world, you're doing the same exact thing by using Reddit to determine your opinion on this particular subgenre of people. You are doing everything you're making fun of these guys for doing, Papa. You gotta stop it. You gotta quit.
Agrarian or tribal societies from the perspective of cultural anthropology. Oh my god, the last person I would ever want to marry is someone who would treat me and my family as some specimen in his anthropology study. I don't know, but I have never been able to fit in with the first world countries, so I'm used to feeling like an outcast. I have never felt accepted or understood there. Perhaps I can find my place in a totally opposite society. I don't know, maybe I will be able to fit in with a society where the people are simpler, not so attached to materialism, not so superficial, not having to play mind games or political correctness or ulterior motives when dealing with them. I wonder if such a place exists on this planet at all. I just hate this noble savage trope that seems to be engraved into their minds, that makes them think that people living in rural areas of other countries are somehow less complex, but also wise in that special, magical way that only people simpler than you can be.
Funny, that's the same argument that a lot of women use when they want to shame dudes who want to go abroad and do those types of things. They usually say that women abroad are just uneducated and dumb and submissive and need to rely on their man. Very funny. Only thing is you haven't done the research to find people who are saying stuff like that. Instead, you're honing your scope in on this particular people so that you can make this dumb video about it. Cool. You're doing everything like that these people are doing. What makes you any different? Come on.
You can be. Ideally, I should be able to find a wife, a companion there. If I would be accepted by her family or tribe, that would be wonderful, as I have not had a family or tribe before. So my one advice to this young man would be, if you want to build a special connection with a girl, please don't call her a peasant, or any member of her family, her tribe. Part 2. Expectations.
And also meet all of their superficial garbage criteria that they can see, so they can see you as good enough for them so that they can grant you their attention while they give you nothing in return. Very cool. Yes, a lot of stuff they're saying is coming from his own ethnocentric purview towards these things, but it's like this is his retaliatory attempt to try to change his circumstances. It's misguided, it's short-sighted, sure, but it's not coming from nowhere. There's clearly something that motivates it. And you want to pretend that that's not real. Because again, I mean, I don't want to say that your perspective is limited when it comes to this particular thing just because you're a woman. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you're going to just be naive and gullible when it comes to stuff. But it's like, you have no idea how hard it is as a dude when it comes to the expectations applied. A lot of the vanity metrics are applied to both men and women, but there's more metrics applied to men in terms of people coming to a conclusion or judging them based on the value that they could afford. It's so much harder for dudes in general. So it makes sense why there are people like this who see it this way. Yes, what he's saying is rather kind of weird. And he's definitely uneducated. He needs to do some more research. Same way you need to do more research, Baba. And stop just focusing on what these few people have to say on goddamn Reddit. So, yeah. What's going on here, Baba? Who hurt you? Are you just like, oh, if you're broke, just say so?
Part 2. Expectations. Question. I've been hearing that women overseas in major cities are being influenced by Western culture and social media. Men are saying you need to go to the rural areas where there is not internet or social media. Is this a good idea? And if so, should I take a tour guide with me or someone that knows the area? Don't want to be mugged in a place I don't know. Which rural areas? Of which countries? He wants to go overseas, but which seas? Does he think the whole world outside of United States is the same dangerous, crime-ridden shithole? This worldview bothers me so much because what do you...
Wait. Why would you frame it that way? Why would you say that America is a crime-ridden shithole and then shame and judge men for wanting to go overseas to find something different, to find people who are influenced by a different type of culture? What? It's a little ironic there. So are you sort of giving like some credit to where he's coming from and why he's saying these types of things? Because I don't really agree. It's like, that's weird. Going out to rural areas specifically to find a specific type of girl, it's like, it's never going to be that clear-cut. There's endless amounts of complexity and nuance to life. But what he's saying isn't coming from nowhere, and you almost gave some type of acknowledgement to where he's coming from by saying America's a crime-ridden shithole. What is going on with you, Baba? What's happening here? Do you even know what you're saying? So you do admit that America's garbage. So then why are you just don't like the reasoning as to why these guys go out and what they're saying to where they're not so much where they're coming from, the ways that they try to understand the world. It is very naive and gullible, and it's not very well versed. It's like, why are you asking people on Reddit? Go do some research. Find a way to make money online, then go move abroad, and then try it, and then experiment, and then gain some knowledge on how things work. And then don't just use your own experiences, use also research on top of that to come to an informed opinion. You're doing the same thing he's doing. You're narrowing your specific purview to what these few people are saying and using that to reflect everything that everyone else uses, who considers themselves, I guess, passport bros, right? Which I don't even want to call myself that, even though that's technically what I'm going to be doing, moving abroad so I can live a higher quality of life, right? For less money. All this other stuff just comes along with it, but that's not the main reason why I'm going out. I'm going out because I fucking hate this country. Like you said, right? A crime-ridden shithole. You didn't say it that way. You said crime-ridden. You said crime, a lot of crime, another word that uses to encapsulate that meaning, but so you seem to understand where we're coming from here, huh? Not me, not we, as in past proposed. I don't like to quantify it. I'm just moving, leaving the country. That's it. I'm a guy who goes to a different place, who's going to go to a different place. That's it. Oh God, she has 3 videos on her channel, and she already has 12,000 subscribers. Jesus. It's not about effort or ability or talent. Just find a way to get people to watch your shit.
What do you mean? It's also so funny that he still wants to go to these violent places that he made up in his head just to escape Western culture and social media. It's so weird that these people are willing to move to the other side of the world while they clearly haven't set foot outside of their apartments in a while. Any girl from another...
How is that weird? You want to make a change to your life because you've been stuck in this one place for so long? How is that a weird thing? The reason's weird. The reasons these guys have are weird. But how is that by itself any... Like, your standards are weird, baba. You're weird. How's that? You all get it wrong. How's that, baba? Get out of it.
Girl from another country wants to come to America. They will kiss your ass, make you think they love you. Don't fall for it. I know a couple of people that got their mates overseas. Soon as they get here and settle in, they're looking for a way out. Save your time and money. Just have fun there and come back alone. Any girl from any other country. I can't believe some men actually think that. What type of insane state propaganda do you need to gobble on to believe people from all over the world would kiss your crusty ass to move to America? I would rather not.
What type of sanctioned propaganda would get a large demographic of people to say that they'd rather survive and they'd rather come across a bear in the woods versus a man? Oh, it's the same thing. Right. People just believe the shit that they're told. It's called cultural conditioning. Weird. But no, you can't get offended by that, and let's not point that out or have a discussion about that. But let's point out this other thing that's a direct reaction to this other thing that you refuse to acknowledge. Very cool, baba. You're killing it right now. Jesus.
I would rather not have a heat stroke trying to traverse through an unwalkable food desert to a nearest McDonald's so a child working there could call an Uber to get me to hospital and eventually die in the traffic because the local government was convinced the roundabouts cause tornadoes. I am a Christian and wondering whether Poland has Christian culture. I have heard about Polish girls are well-cultured and godly women. Is that true? Wondering whether Poland has Christian culture is again so funny. Reminds me of American missionaries going to the Ukraine border to teach refugees about Jesus. Like, who do you think told you about Jesus in the first place? As whether or not Polish women are godly, some are. If you want to find religious women, go look in your local place of worship. No need to move to a whole new country. The next post reminded me, though, that in the United States, Catholics are not exactly considered to be Christians, and it led me to this hilarious Catholics versus Protestants drama that I did not expect on that subreddit. Where should I go to find a trad wife, and how long should I stay there? Hi there, This is my first time posting here and I'm looking for advice. I'm 30 years old, 6'4", tall, handsome, Caucasian, on 3 properties that are paid off 90%, 2 of which are in Hawaii, which is where I live. I'm Christian and my faith is incredibly important to me. I'm not looking for hookups. I don't find casual sex fulfilling. I'm looking for a traditional, feminine, submissive, beautiful Christian woman. I am very attracted to Latina women, so I'm curious about where should I go in South America. I am also very attracted to Asian women. If you are going to suggest a country, please also suggest a city or area within that country. I have been dating in the US for over 2 years since my divorce. It is not challenging for me to find women here who are interested in casual sex, but it's not what I'm interested in. I want to be with a beautiful Christian woman who genuinely has traditional values. I should also mention that connecting over conversation is very important to me, so I want to go somewhere where the women speak English very fluently. I suggest Philippines, mainly because if religion is important to you, they are very religious over there, except Catholic, not Christian. Sorry bro, worship of Mary, saints or angels, using priests as intermediaries are not what Jesus taught. Don't care about history, but do go off. Isn't it somehow comforting how in only a couple hundred years one of the most bloody conflicts in human history fizzled out to a thread on a Passport Bros subreddit? Divorced, but you want a traditional wife? You're 30 with a significant history. You'll clearly take what you can get. Stay in the US and find yourself some church wife over there instead. Are you jealous that I'm 6'4"? You seem jealous. Are you 5'7"? I'm 6'1". And when did I mention your height at all? If your height helped you get women, you wouldn't be on here crying about wanting a traditional wife, lol. Oh no, they started bickering about their height immediately, like a couple of preschoolers at the playground. These men are not mature enough to date anyone. No wonder they're desperate. Part 3.
Yes, because that's how that works. If you're immature, you just don't get dates. That's how it works, because all the people who are mature and emotionally stable are the ones who get into relationships, which is why almost every relationship fails. I like that logic. Yeah, that makes sense. And you can see why these dudes are super insecure about their height, because that's usually directly applied to their sense of value, or the way that they're perceived. Their perceived value when it comes to the eyes of a lot of women who are, let's be honest, conditioned to find that feature to be super important. You can tell why they're insecure about that crap. I hate stuff like this, Baba. Honestly, you think things go where they should be just because that's the way that it should be? It's like, give me a fucking break. The way that last sentence you said, oh, no wonder why they're desperate, because they're emotionally inept. So are the people in relationships, they're just emotionally intelligent? Is that how that works? Why are there so many divorces? Why is there so much domestic violence? Why does almost every relationship that starts fails? Why do all those things happen if those people are emotionally inept or emotionally intelligent, yet these guys who are complaining about being desperate aren't? You don't know what you're doing. You're watching people argue on Reddit, and I've seen all that stuff all the time. There's so many idiots. And I also notice how a lot of the dumbest replies and the dumbest takes get the most upvotes on Reddit, because there's a lot of really dumb people on Reddit. And that's what you're using to make this video around. Beautiful. God. Let's get to the end of this. This is dumb. This is really stupid.
Desperate. Part 3. Reality check. And finally, my favorite type of posts is when they actually go to another country and the realization hits. Am I crazy, or are things in Europe just as bad as in the US? Well. My job has had me traveling all over Europe the past 2 years. I've been all over Western and Eastern Europe.
Europe's an awful example. Let me escape this westernized country to go to another westernized country. Great idea. Good shit. It's funny, so you use the opinions of a few idiots to warrant making this dumb video where you share a bunch of lacking in self-awareness opinions where you just shame dumb dudes on these forums while pretending that why they're saying all these things is just coming out of nowhere, right? God. If you make more dumb videos, I'll be there to watch it, but yeah, no, this is stupid. Do a little bit more research into this, and then maybe you'll be like, oh, okay, there's a little bit of validity here. There's clearly enough of a cultural decree in some of these westernized places, as these do say, that merit this type of reaction to it. The fact that they brought up their height, those guys earlier were complaining about it, it's like, why do you think they're doing that? You think, oh, it's just all up in my mind that women care about height. Yet if you actually do some research, women care about height. And they use that as one of the many deal breakers when it comes to determining whether or not they get with a guy. Yeah. But let's actually just ignore all that. Let's just pretend that's not real and just focus on what these guys say so that we can make this video.
And Eastern Europe and Scandinavia, I feel like people on here say dating and women in Europe are much better than in the US, but my experience has been eerily similar between the two. Did he go to Scandinavia thinking women would be more traditional than in the US? Bro, we did not send all of the Europe's most puritanical freaks to the new land just for you to come back here and think that the US is somehow the most liberal out there.
Thank you. One opinion that you've made out of, so far we're 15 minutes in, you've made one that's right on the mark. That's exactly what I just said before I resume playing. To escape to escape America, you go to, because of its culture, you go to Europe. Oh God, yeah, these people are stupid. So then what does that say about, like, the topic of which you're making these videos, the subject matter of this video? Not the subject matter, the evidence you're using as part of the subject matter to make this video around. What does that say about that? Oh, all these dumb people are saying all this dumb crap, therefore this is stupid, this passport bro movement. Dude, you haven't done enough research, baba. You haven't. On both sides. You're just looking at this specific lens on fucking Reddit, dude. Get the hell out. What are you doing, baba? Makes you any different from these guys, honestly. Jesus.
I've met so many girls in Eastern Europe who make it seem like they're traditional, sophisticated or whatever, and then go get blackout drunk at a club and hook up with some random stranger. High body counts, transactional gold digging, absurd standards in men sometimes, all things I've found dating in Europe same as in the US. I cannot comprehend the thought process for him to search a traditional wife and then complain about women being transactional. I know what you mean by traditional. You want her only job to be taking care of your house and your children, while you provide for them. It's obvious she needs to know first, how much are you going to provide? You cannot expect...
Another valid point. Dude, keep this up and I'll ease up on my pettiness. But yes, absolutely. I made another video where I was talking about this lady who was talking about how feminism ruined dating. She was on the other side of the coin of the feminist coin, which on the feminist side of the coin, it's a bunch of ridiculous, mindless, superficial expectations, very transactional, very just vain, disgusting. But then you flip it to the other side of the coin, it's traditional trad wife crap. Like, man has to do this, man has to do that, masculine frame, yada, I want this and that and that. It's all transactional. Everywhere you go, everyone gets it wrong. Oh man, yes, you are right about that, but culture has a major effect on the way that people, on the extent of problems, right? You would probably get women all around the world who expect a man to make some degree of money. But there's a difference between going in the US where a woman's like, oh, I want $100,000 a year, versus a girl in the Philippines who's like, I don't know, just make like $400 a month or something like that. Something like more realistic. There are differences based on culture that you seem to be just ignoring. Or you're focusing on the certain things that play in a certain way that get you to, well, try to paint this image with as much fecal matter as possible, right? You're just, passport bros, this is dumb, because here's my fecal matter. It's hard to see what it really is now through my fecal matter, right? That's what you're doing, baba. That's what you're doing. But yes, I'm not into that traditional trad wife crap. I think that's fucking stupid. I like hookup culture. I like messing around. I like fun. That stuff's cool. I don't have the same standards when it comes to relationships that your average other dude has. But where these guys are coming from, no matter how stupid all the stuff that they're saying as a result of it, is like, where they're coming from is still valid. They still have a point with some of the stuff that they're pointing out in terms of what they've experienced in these places. It's like, I'm not even all that, and I still have to deal with a lot of the same crap. It's like, come on. You're actively disregarding that, and I think that's just because you don't know, you haven't, that's not your problem. You're a woman in Poland. You don't know what it's like to be a man. You don't know what it's like to have these specific standards thrusted upon you when it comes to your choice of partners. Your value that you afford is directly tied to your perceived your attractiveness for the most part, and that's just one of a billion things that a lot of women are conditioned into prioritizing instead of the actual substance and merit of the connection. That, when it comes to humans, because humans are mindless, disgusting creatures, that does not matter. People don't care about that. And these guys are doing the same exact thing that the women are doing. I want a woman who's traditional, who's feminine, who's submissive, or whatever, yada yada. It's the same thing as the women over here, the same thing. But you're honing in on the dudes. What's your motivation for that, huh? Tell me. Jesus.
You cannot expect her to be fully dependent on you, but then also don't expect anything from you. I married a Turkish woman after meeting her for 2 weeks via her sister, my coworker. We got married 6 months later after her visa to come to the US was processed. We had a great life together, but it was a mistake to bring her to the US as she made friends with American women who filled her head full of American ideas that just ruined our relationship and made her incredibly entitled and arrogant. The car my parents gave her was too old. Her ring was too cheap. Doing anything became more about getting photos for Facebook or Instagram. It was just total shit after she got on American social media. The first year, we couldn't really even speak as she spoke zero English and I spoke zero Turkish, but we got along. She took care of me and I took care of her. We divorced in 2020 after 11 years of marriage and are still friends. She still loves me and hasn't moved on or dated anyone, and she didn't ask for alimony. What is going on?
I mean, all those things that he's saying, got married after a little bit of time, couldn't speak the same language. That all makes sense when you treat humans as props, when you treat your potential romantic partners as a commodity, which is exactly what people do. That's how humans work. It's disgusting. We don't have to do that stuff, but people tend to do it anyways because they're fucking stupid. Humans are mindless, grotesque animals. And you're surprised by this? It's like, I shouldn't be surprised that she's doing this stuff in reaction to this stupid shit. It's like, come on. We're almost there, to the end.
What's going on here? This post was such a crazy ride. He marries someone after 6 months of knowing them, calling it the best decision of his life. But as soon as she learns his language enough to enable any form of communication, the marriage starts falling apart. But it's obviously the wicked Western feminists and social media's fault. She wasn't like that before. Just ask the men who didn't talk to her for a whole year after they got married. For anyone who manages to wed a foreign miss, how is the marriage going? Does she still like you in America? Does she like you for anything besides money? Let me know. I am from Australia. I married a very religious, traditional, and sheltered girl from back home. I gave her everything she wanted. The freedom to dress, go out, make friends, attend university, and work. There were never any restrictions. Oh wow, look at this. Gracious, gracious man. He didn't restrict the way she dressed or how often she could leave the house. I wonder where is he going with this. Fast forward, after having two...
If you have a problem with that, which I kind of do, then you would have a problem with a woman saying that a man can't have female friends, or to go out without her, or to take vacations without her, or to just actually have a few female friends. If you have a problem with that, then you would also have a problem with this other thing too. But I don't know. I don't know, Baba. What do you? Come on. And yes, it is weird the way that he worded it. I let her do this, I let her do that. It's like, come on, is it real? Are you guys individuals? Or are you just things to each other? Oh, right, we're things to each other. Humans are commodities to each other, because that's how our species works. So I guess you gotta kind of expect this stuff, huh? Jesus Christ.
Having 2 kids and securing her paperwork, she divorced me. The patterns were very clear as she continued to become independent, less reliant on me, and eventually found a higher purpose, supporting her family back home. I tried to set boundaries as it was affecting us, but she forced me out. When you marry someone from another country, you can't predict how they will behave once they gain power over you. They may revert to their way of life and recreate their childhood home environment. If you intervene later, it's too late. You can't stop them from supporting their family back home. I tried to set limits, but she wouldn't accept them. This is where the mask comes off. She didn't change because she gained power over you. She changed when you lost power over her. He said it himself, she continued to become independent. They are actively seeking women from impoverished regions because they know they have leverage over them. They want the power imbalance. They can call it a traditional relationship or a natural dynamic, but the simple truth is, they want power. To use that power.
Everyone wants power. Oh my god, again, you're pretending as if it doesn't go the other way as well. What do you think women use sex as? What do you think they use? Why do you think they care about the way you can provide, how much money you can give, how you can meet this certain thing? Is so you curate their emotions, you make them feel a certain way. It's about power, dude. It's always about that. Everyone, men and women. But you are pretending that it's only one way. And as if these guys openly admitting that they want to vie for control is like somehow more scummy than women doing the same thing to them. It's insane, man. The enabling you're doing. You can't even point out how it's just universal with humans. Jesus, Baba. We're almost at the end. We're almost done with this crap.
That power on a desperate woman, lure her out of her safety net, of her environment, with a promise of a better life for her and her family, just to then set boundaries on how much she can support said family. That's just pure evil. And then to act surprised when a woman doesn't want to leave her country, that's just stupid. For real, it's ridiculous. Even my well-traveled passport bro.
I think it's also dumb. Why would you go abroad, find a woman, and bring her back to the States? What's wrong with you? You have to be dumb to do that. Go live over there. Why are you... You escaped for a reason. And now you're coming back to resubject yourself to that? What's wrong with you? You deserve everything that happens as a result of that. Are you kidding me? Jesus, people. Just dumb. God. Yeah.
Passport bro friend who is dating a girl from Hong Kong just assumed she would eventually move back to the US. Of course, that was a huge problem when it came up. It took months, but eventually he realized that she never planned on abandoning her family and friends and world in general. It was him who went there. She doesn't owe it to him to move here. This is 100% fact. My wife really wishes we could stay in her country, but my career won't allow it currently. She thinks she's going to get shot in the States. Ha ha! Ha ha, indeed. What a ridiculous assumption. So yeah, it seems like even those women who actually...
Oh yeah, because America's garbage, and that's one of the problems it has. But like, you acknowledging that almost reinforces all the stuff that I was saying. It's like you're pointing out how there's these things that happen at a higher degree and a higher volatility in certain places and a certain time and place, and you don't think that has an effect on the way people would react to that. This is these people's reaction to that. This is the men's reaction to what's happening over here so they can go over here and get something else. It's the same, like, I'm guessing you only just want to point blame at the dudes. Yeah. Who hurt you, Baba? Who broke your heart, Baba? It's like, dude, we've all been screwed by everyone. That's just how it works. It's not good. It's not good just humans in general, wherever we're going to find humans, but I think you can control for the degree of mindless crap that you have to deal with. You have to go where you're treated best. That's just the way that it is. Everywhere you go, every country has its random bullshit priorities. It's just pick your poison. And these guys are picking poison based on lack of research, the same way the poison that you picked was making this video from your skewed degree of research, from just listening to what people have to say on Reddit. God.
Men who actually married a passport bro don't necessarily want to leave to the United States with him. How strange. It's almost like a woman with traditional values would value family and community. Conservative people also tend to be patriots. It may sound strange to an American passport bro, but people from other countries also tend to feel a strong connection to their country. So just in case any wannabe passport bros are listening right now, I want to make an announcement representing what I believe to be a sentiment shared amongst majority of Polish women. We don't want you here. You are not going to impress us with your US passport. It's actually not that high on a world passport index. And sure, getting salary in US dollars is gonna give you more spending power here. You can get a remote job and make a pretty good living for yourself in Poland. But guess what? So do we. It's actually what I'm doing right now. So, no leverage here. I'll take the Western dollars, the feminism, and social media, and you can stay where you are. Okay? Great.
Yep, and the ones that actually know what they're doing wouldn't go to Poland to meet women like you. I mean, you showed. I was going to look up how much, the average cost or the value of the currency was. It's $1 to 3 Polish dollars. I don't know the specific name. Cool. Did you know $1 equals 36 Thai baht in a place like Thailand? So yeah, don't flatter yourself, honey. The types of passport bros that, that freaking term. Those guys, the ones that are showing up to meet Polish women, those guys don't know what they're doing. They haven't done enough research. That video kind of sucked. Your opinion sucked, not the video. The video was on par with the quality of my videos, at least these videos that I'm making. I'm not putting as much effort in, because effort's not the thing that determines your reception, clearly. So, cool.